Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another DC Comics 101. I literally just did them with my fingers, and somehow I did 111 for some stupid reason. But yeah, welcome back to DC Comics 101. This week, as you know, before we can start, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays. I'm a day late, so this will come out on Tuesday, the 27th instead of the 26th. Usually I do this on Mondays and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Happy holiday overall. Hope everybody had a blessed Christmas this past weekend. Hope everybody had a great Hanukkah before then. I know Kwanzaa is about to hit the stage. So hopefully everybody had a good month of December. I know I did. I hope you all did too. And then we got the new year coming about. Somebody's birthday's happening. I'm not saying whose. I'm just going to let you all guess. You know what I'm saying? Just guess. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we are here for another beautiful episode of DC Comics 101. This week, what's the difference between the Reverse Flash and Zoom? Done by Tim Beadle on DC.com's page. So this is weird because when I looked this up, it says January 15th, 2016. But then when I clicked on it, it said posted on September 26, 2017. Either way, everything I'm reading now is basically from that time frame. So when I say last year or this year, stuff like that, that's literally what it's from. You know what I'm saying? But if you hear that shit in the background, I do this shit in my basement. This stuff in my... Sorry, I don't know why I cuss a lot. I'm trying to change that. I apologize. But... again, if you hear that like humming kind of noise in the background, that's my what you call it, my heat kicking in. I do this in the basement. My streaming, my podcast, all that stuff, I do it in the basement, and like the heating's like literally right. I would say about 4 feet from me. So it gets kind of loud sometimes, but I hope it doesn't reflect off my voice. But anyways, what's the difference between Reverse Flash and Zoom? And I'm gonna be freaking honest, even still to this day, I get confused. I still get confused sometimes. I love my flashes, man. I'm a big Reverse Flash person, but Zoom, I'm lost. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm lost. But you know what? Let's just get into this, because I know you want to know. I want to know. What is the difference between their history? Are they the same person? Or are they different people? Let's find out. Okay, so what we're going to do is... literally, I forgot to press play. I forgot to... I'm upset with myself. Okay. What's the difference between the Reverse Flash and Zoom? The Reverse Flash and Zoom have a long and very intertwined history, leaving some to believe the two baddies are the same villain. Here's where the confusion comes from, and how can you tell them apart? Excuse me, I apologize for that. While many of Barry Allen's popular comic adversaries have already appeared on the Flash TV show, his biggest challenges have been at the hands of two villains, the Reverse Flash and Zoom. While both characters are speedsters on the show, they're pretty different visually and motivationally. However, if you ever tried looking up the two characters in the comics, you would probably be pretty surprised and very confused. That's because the Reverse Flash and Zoom both have the same color palette, but Zoom's eyes are covered and they look more devilish, like black and red pupils, while the Reverse Flash his eyes aren't covered. You can see his eyes simply. That's the first thing. If you notice anything, yes, those are two different characters. Characters who look nothing alike on the Flash TV series. And the lady confusion doesn't end there. In the comics, the Reverse Flash is also commonly referred to as Professor Zoom or simply Zoom. And in some comics, Eobard Thawne is a Reverse Flash, and in others, he's Zoom. So what gives? Why are these two baddies so hard to tell apart? The answer isn't without its intricities. I'm saying that wrong? I know I am. But in the simplest term, it's that Zoom, who made his first appearance in 2001, was meant to be something of a new take on the earlier Reverse Flash, who first appeared in 1963 and was deceased in comic book continuity in 2001. Think Jason Todd and Tim Drake become the new Robin, or Jaime Reyes become the new Blue Beetle. The character we now know as Zoom was basically the new Reverse Flash for a time. Only for a variety of reasons, that distinction has now become muddied. So let's take a quick look at these quick heavies and see if we can clear up some of the confusion that surrounds them. To start off, it helps to look at two different eras when talking about the Reverse Flash and Zoom. Before the New 52 and after it. Before the New 52, the Reverse Flash brought to life on the TV series The Flash by actor Tom Cavanaugh seems to have been largely inspired by the original Reverse Flash. This character is Eobard Thawne, a resident of the 25th century who became obsessed with the Flash, going so far as to duplicate the Flash's powers and turning back time to meet the Flash, where he instead learns that he's destined to become the Flash's greatest enemy and die at his hands. This shatters Eobard's already unstable mind, essentially causing him to become the villain he learned about. As mentioned above, Eobard was sometimes also referred to in the comics as Professor Zoom or Zoom. This is similar to how Batman is the Caped Crusader and the Dark Knight. At the time, all of these referred to the same character, who was a substantial enough villain within the DC universe to carry so many names. Eobard would eventually go on to kill Barry's wife and nearly kill his new fiancée several years later, before inadvertently getting his neck snapped by a desperate Flash, bringing Eobard's initial discovery full circle and paving the way for a new take on the character. Zoom, that would come after Wally West, is the third of the. I messed that whole thing up. That new take would come after Wally West. The third Flash had inherited the red and yellow mantle. Hunter Zolomon was one of Wally's closest friends. When he learned his father was a serial killer after he murdered Hunter's mother, sadly, this would only be the first of several tragedies to befall Hunter. Determined to hunt down vicious criminals like his father, Hunter joined the FBI, where he eventually married a fellow agent named Ashley. However, a shootout with a supervillain resulted in the death of Ashley's father. Ashley divorced Hunter after that, and eventually he was fired by the FBI. He wound up in Keystone City, where he joined the police department and befriended Wally. But tragedy struck yet again when an assault by Gorilla Grodd left Hunter with a broken neck. Hunter begged his friend the Flash to travel back in time and prevent the tragedies in his life. When Wally refused, Hunter tried to do it himself, using the cosmic treadmill, resulting in an explosion that gave him the ability to alter his relative time, making it appear like he was moving at great speeds. His sanity now all but gone, Hunter donned a costume inspired by the Flash's previous nemesis and christened himself as Zoom. So how do we tell these two apart? Eobard and Hunter have very similar costumes, so how do you tell which one is which? Usually time is a good indication. If you're looking at the comic from before 2001, you're looking at the Reverse Flash. If the comic is from 2001 to the Flash Rebirth in 2009, you're probably talking about Zoom. After Rebirth, which resurrected Eobard Thawne, any yellow speedster you came across is likely to be Eobard. Hunter didn't exactly go away once Eobard came back, but he wasn't used all that frequently afterward and has yet to make an appearance in the New 52. Of course, you can also use the nemesis as an indicator. The Reverse Flash was largely a Barry Allen adversary, while Zoom was chiefly a Wally West villain. Finally, there is one easy to spot visual cue that you can usually use to tell one from the other. Zoom's costume covers his eyes, which often appears as red pupils surrounded by ominous black lenses, while Reverse Flash's costume leaves his eyes visible. Yet Zoom's eyes just look like he's straight devil. He looks like a straight devil. In the Reverse Flash that played a key role in Flashpoint, the miniseries event which launched New 52, which is the most recent Flash storyline used to use a yellow costume for the Reverse Flash. After that, things changed dramatically. After the New 52, the Reverse Flash. When DC Comics rebooted their entire line of comics in 2001, some series changed more than others. The Flash, which at the time was being co-written by Francis Manapul, who also drew, and Brian Buccellato, saw more changes to the character than arguably any other series. Just about every villain was redesigned and reconceived, and the Reverse Flash was no different when he was introduced in 2013. With the resurrection of Eobard Thawne in Flash Rebirth, it had become difficult to differentiate between the Reverse Flash, who still had the Professor Zoom moniker attached to him, and Zoom. So the New 52 made two characters far more distinct. First seen in costume in the Flash issue number 52, the New 52's Reverse Flash is actually Daniel West, Iris' brother. Obtaining his powers through a freak speed force accident, Daniel's Reverse Flash was a dramatic black and red costume that looks nothing like the Reverse Flash's earlier yellow and red costume. Or suit, sorry. Much like the TV series of Reverse Flash, Daniel was only referred to as Reverse Flash, never Zoom or Professor Zoom. After his debut in The Flash and eventual incarceration, Daniel would go on to be featured as a member of Task Force X in the new Suicide Squad, and is now presumed dead. Zoom wouldn't be introduced to New 52 until last year's The Flash number 40, and his initial storyline only recently wrapped up in December's The Flash number 47. This version of Zoom, who is also referred to as Professor Zoom, isn't Hunter Zolomon, but yes, Eobard Thawne. Much like the earlier version of Thawne, the New 52's Zoom is from the future and travels back in time to confront Barry Allen, blaming his society's admiration of the Flash for their unwillingness to accept his tyrannical rule. While this take on Eobard wears a costume that's very reminiscent of the first one, his power set is close to Hunter Zolomon's Zoom. He manipulates relative time, making it appear that he moves more quickly than anyone else around him, including the Flash. Also, much like Eobard on the TV's The Flash, this version is responsible for the death of Barry's mother. Considering they look drastically different, it's a lot easier to tell Zoom and Reverse Flash apart now than it was prior to New 52. Rather, the more important distinction is to remember that Zoom refers to Eobard after the New 52 and Hunter Zolomon before it. Eobard does wear a costume that's a lot closer to the prior version of Zoom, between the diamond-shaped lightning ball on his chest and the black energy emanating off of him, neither of which the pre-New 52 character had. It's easy enough to recognize him. What does this mean for the TV show? Well, we know the Reverse Flash is on The Flash, and now we have two potential identities for Zoom. However, it should be noted that the Flash's Zoom has some significant differences from any other comic villains. For starters, his costume looks nothing like any other comic costumes, most closely resembling Daniel West's New 52 suit, but not nearly close enough to assume he's Daniel. Also, this version of the character stems from Earth 2, which is something new, so it's entirely possible Zoom is someone who isn't drawn from the comics. Then again, the Flash and Arrow often subvert our expectations, making us subject that a classic character is being embodied by someone new, when in actuality it isn't. Like they did last year with the Reverse Flash Harrison Wells, who was later revealed to be Eobard Thawne. In short, we can help you identify Zoom and Reverse Flash in the comics, but when it comes to figuring out who's behind the mask on the show, you're on your own. Alright, so, if you have not watched, again, this is from 2016, 2017, in that time frame. If you do not know who, spoiler, this shouldn't be a spoiler, but it's going to be a spoiler. If you do not know who Zoom is in the Flash TV show, it is Hunter Zolomon. So, get that out of the way. Tom Cavanaugh is the best character on that show. I love Grant Gustin as the Flash, but Tom Cavanaugh has played so many versions of Wells, Flash, like, it's ridiculous. I love that dude's fucking awesome. Excuse me. Also, in the more current series of the Flash, I do believe Reverse Flash is back to being Eobard Thawne. But if I'm wrong, hit me up. Tell me. Correct me. Send me a link to correct me and stuff like that. I want to know. I need to know. I want to know. Sorry. But what do y'all think? Who's y'all favorite? My favorite's always been Reverse Flash, no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's fucking Professor Zoom, Reverse Flash, Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. That's my dude. Boom, done. Simple. I'm good. We're good. Also, like I said, this is from 2016, 2017. As of this current time frame, the Arrow show, the TV show Arrow, has been on TV for what, 2 years? Year and a half, 2 years, something like that. So that's already done and gone. Again, if y'all have questions for me or anything like that, I'll probably set up a voice message for this podcast on Spotify, Anchor, all that good stuff, Good Pod. And y'all can give me a voice message there, and I'll play it on here, and I can answer whatever y'all got to say to me, or rebuttal what you ever have to say to me. Like always, hit me up on youtube.com/MFG22, or hit the search bar, MFG22. You see a rhino with Millerfield Gaming on it. It's either black and yellow or black and blue. That's me. Hit me up on twitch.tv/Millerfield Gaming. One word, no spaces. You know what it is. Also, if you don't want to send me a message on the Good Pod Podcast Networking group on Facebook, click my name, send me a message, some of that good stuff. All right, cool beans. And then, the first time I'm doing this, if you would like to send me a message at my email at cjfeliciano2011@gmail.com, get at me. I'll try to answer you as quick as possible, or I'll reply to you right here on the pod. But what do y'all think about this DC Comics 101 episode? Which do you prefer, or do you not care? You just like that Flash has a nemesis. I like my reverse. I just prefer Reverse Flash. But I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all. Lately, I've been tired for no reason, and I can't even explain why. But I just want to give a quick shout out to the Chime In podcast. I've only heard one episode, which was their oceans, about the holes in the ocean episode. I found that very interesting. It's a group of 3 people, and they talk about things that are happening in our planet. If you're into that, go check them out. Chime In podcast. The wrestling world podcast with Austin Boyer. Y'all like wrestling? Austin, if you only do Fridays, like you only do SmackDown, all right, cool. He reviews, or he tries to review what happened on SmackDown, which I feel that's all you ever do. If I'm wrong, I mean, you do pay-per-views, but if I'm wrong, please tell me. I apologize, my man. And again, these next 2, I get so mad because I say I'm gonna write these down and I don't. The first one is Get Dad something podcast. It's a former military veteran. Literally, his episodes, you can literally brush your teeth while listening to his episodes. That's how quick they are. Then the longest episode I've seen, probably 5 minutes. Basically, he picks a topic, talks about it. Then after that, he either start with a joke on the episode, but he always ends with like 2, maybe 3 jokes in the episode. And to me, they're funny. Some of them are not, my personal, they're not funny, but somehow I still laugh because I find them funny. You know what I'm saying? Like the Frostbite one, that was hilarious to me. You know what I'm talking about. And the next one, I'm not trying to say your name on this podcast, but I forgot the name of your podcast. I think I remembered it. The Geeky Dad podcast. Hit me up if I'm right. The Geeky Dad podcast is this dude. This is guy that does his podcast with his 2 kids, which their banter is awesome. Oh man, I love it so much. Dude, them 3 together are like perfect. They do an awesome job. He does an awesome job with them. Lets them get their banter out and stuff like that. And his little girl knows a lot about comics. Like, wow. And that's really cool. But yeah, I want to shout out those 4 podcasts. I'm gonna try to get more into the listening podcast thing during this whole Good Pods group. But yeah, always and forever, guys. One love. Peace. Hey guys, what's going on? Do you guys ever feel tired and you just want a nice little pick me up to, just wake you up a little bit, but won't drag you down right after you finish, your energy's all gone? Go check out W.GG. Literally, I actually bought it. You know what I'm saying? And I tried. I'm like, first thing, the flavors are fucking phenomenal. One almost tastes like a Starburst. It's called Dub Slime. That's just ridiculous. But my favorite one is Galaxy Grenade. Has a nice sweet taste. Tastes a little berry-ish, little berry style to it. It's delicious. But you also go check out. Go to W.GG. And if you use my code MFG22, you get 10% off your order, all right? Thank you all once again. Again, w.gg, use code MFG22.